Oregon suffer from mental illness, and 20% of the population has substance use disorder, but help is available. Lions for Life is dedicated to preventing substance abuse and suicide by promoting mental health wellness.
Much of their work is done through volunteers at their crisis and emotional support call center. We talked with CEO Dwight Holton about the work they do and some of the volunteer opportunities available at Lions for Life.
My name is Dwight Holton, and I run a terrific nonprofit called Lions for Life, where we are dedicated to preventing substance abuse and suicide. And we have three key strategies that we work on to meet that mission. First, we do crisis intervention work. Second, we do prevention work. And third, we do policy and advocacy work. On the crisis intervention side, mostly what that looks like is talking to people and supporting people in crisis. So at Lions for Life, our call counselors talk to about 165,000 people in crisis every year, and our job is to answer calls, texts, chats from people in crisis. Some people who are just having a really bad day, some people who are actively suicidal and considering self-harm. Our job is to help them find hope and a way forward. On the prevention side, our job is to work with communities to help people make better choices and live healthier lives at the outset so that we don't end up in a place where they're struggling. And sometimes this looks like addressing long-time trauma. Sometimes this looks like giving people education so they can make better and healthier choices. And sometimes it looks like strategies of just educating families so that they can support others. So one of the most remarkable aspects of Lions for Life is that we are very driven by volunteers, especially in our crisis intervention work. As we sit here today, down the hall are a handful of volunteers who are answering crisis calls, texts, and chats from people all over Oregon who are struggling. They're folks who are having their very worst day. And we train, equip, supervise, and support volunteers to help those people who are struggling find hope, find a way forward, and figure out what's next. The main prerequisite for this job, or for this volunteer role, is compassion. We provide training. We help all of our folks with evidence-based training that is kind of the foundation for crisis work, whether you're doing this as a professional or as a volunteer. Part of what's really cool about it is our volunteers come in all shapes and sizes. So there are some folks who are here as part of a graduate degree program for sure, but there's a big chunk of folks who are here because they want to give back to their community, or because they've always been that person in their group of friends and family and community who people know they can come to talk to, and that's a skill that they like to flex, that they like to use to support people. Our volunteers will tell you that they love this. Our volunteers commit to 4 hours a week for a year, and almost every single one of them completes that commitment. They are here, and in fact, they usually stay for many more years than the 1 year requirement. They'll tell you it's incredibly rewarding work. It can be hard work. I don't want to be shy about that. Talking to someone who's really struggling can be very hard, but what our volunteers tell us is that they feel equipped and supported to help those people who are struggling, and it is very rewarding. So even before we do training with someone, we work with them so they understand what it looks like and it feels like the right fit. The second line really is the training. We have an amazing training team that uses evidence-based training and curricula from across the nation to equip people to do this work. And then when you volunteer, it's here. It's never remote. It's here at the call center. You have supervisors available right there, literally sitting next to you as you do the work. And you have colleagues, both folks who are doing this work professionally as well as other volunteers. So it's a very strong community of support. When there are tough calls, we always do check-ins and conversations and support thereafter. And folks know that they have particular resources where they can reach out for support if there's a particularly challenging call or something that has stuck with a person after a call. There's no doubt that being a part of the Standards Volunteer Expo is a central part. It's a highlight for our year and for our volunteer program, not only because we develop new relationships, but just because of the enormity of the community commitment that the Standard brings through their Volunteer Expo. And I should point out that the Standard has been a long-time supporter of the work here at Lions for Life, but more important than that almost is that their employee workforce is. We get an enormous amount of support and commitment, not just in volunteers, but in financial contributions from employees across the company, which the company then matches. Their corporate community around commitment to community is unlike anything else I know in Oregon.
Well, you can learn more about Lines for Life right now on KOIN.com. And speaking about some of the work the Standard does to help connect folks who want to volunteer with local organizations that could use that help, you can learn more about Lines for Life and more than 100 other local nonprofits at this year's Standard Volunteer Expo. KOIN 6 and Portland CW are proud media partners of the 17th annual event. Mark your calendars for Thursday, September 4th at Pioneer Courthouse Square. You can go and learn more about many of the amazing nonprofit volunteer opportunities in your neighborhood. All kinds of ways to help make where we live a better place.
Absolutely great work there. Well,